Welcome to this video which demonstrates the use of the creative designer part of the 1475 CD. As you can see, it uses graph paper to draw your stitch pattern on, and I have some examples here of a bicycle, and I think that's here we have a rabbit inside here. And now I'm just going to show you how we load the paper in first. So there are two side clamps here. One needs to be slid forward and one on the other side to be slid forward, and that means the paper's free. You slide the paper in and you move this crosshair pointer and set up the position of the paper. Once you've got the 0, 0, we then close this clamp at this corner, slide it down to the other end, check it's nearly, and just align the paper and slide this clamp back away from you, and that grips the paper. Now we put it back at 0, 0, this bottom left corner. That's quite important because it calibrates the machine. We take the plug out, we plug it into the machine, turn the power on, and we have to select a P memory. So go to P0 has got some stitches in. I'm just going to go to a slightly different. I'm going to go to P5 memory, and now I press memory minus, and it's telling you it's ready to take the first stitch, and it's telling you this position of this cursor here. And as I move the cursor along to my first point that I want to plot, my first stitch I want to plot, you can see this value has changed on here as I move the cursor. Okay, and then basically you press this memory plus button, and you start moving the cursor around your stitch pattern as you've designed it, following the dots. So it's just dot to dot, and if you have to go back over a line and come back out just to join it back in with the pattern, that's fine. And when you're finished in the last stitch, you press memory on here, and then that's stored all those stitches, and you're ready to sew that pattern. But this pattern has only got a few stitches in because earlier on I did it in P0. So we're now ready to stitch it. So when you've pressed the memory, you can then unplug it, and then you're ready to stitch. So here's my example. Here's some I did a bit earlier on. I'm just going to do the motif again. And we're going to do a single motif. So we press this button, a single motif, and the light's on, and off we go. Okay, foot up, got the thread, and that's what I've just, you can't grumble about that really, simple enough. There you go, get the light right. And the one to the left it is I did a few minutes ago, testing it. Little rabbit. You can combine these patterns together in say for instance you wanted it to be much larger, you'd have to draw the bottom half of it, but where you start and end the stitch, it has to start on the next pattern. So you then sew pattern P1 after it, and it would draw the top half, stitch out the top half of the pattern. You can also do programming of motifs as well. So this is a little bit easier than doing it manually on here, and I'll show you how to do that now. So in the back of this, the PFAFF Creative Designer book, there is the motif card, and again similarly slide the two locks towards you, remove my rabbit. Using this card that comes with the Creative Designer, you can also put this into this machine here and do monograms. It's much easier to program than memories. So release the clamps, pull them by pulling them forward, then slide the card in, and just make sure the card is squared in the display. It's not as critical as programming. It's not as programming the stitch patterns. Then move the clamps forward, turn the machine on. It's asking what card you've got in, or what you're going to do. So you move the cursor now up to the top to the card number. See card number 2 there? So we put it over card number 2. It's saying it's got card number 2, but it needs to put it into there. So I've pressed Mem plus on here, and then it goes in. So until that's gone in, you can't do it. Now you have to move the crosshair across to here where it says M0 to M15. It's going to find you a spare memory. And memory 5, if you look on the display, memory 5 is free. So we now press memory. Now we go and pick our letters up. So we want to spell, say, Mark. So we're now over the M, press M plus, and on the display is M. Now we go to A, we go plus, now it's MA. Then we go to R, press M plus, there's the R, and then we go to K, press M plus, and then when we finished, we just memory button on there, and it now shows you. Oh, that didn't say that. And then single motif. Okay. Beautiful mark monogram.